welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Bucky. And he's got a toy. He's got a little snowman toy for Christmas. He's very happy about it.
He's trying to put it in Ken's mouth.
Yes. And so this is Pokemon. Evil or not? Every dark type Pokemon explained by Loxton and Noggin. You can see all of our Pokemon reactions in a playlist in the description of this video. You ready to check this out?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you ready, Bucky?
Right when you thought Pokemon were all happy-go-lucky, kind creatures who battle with honor, Gen 2 came around and introduced Dark-type Pokemon. But
Dun, dun, dun.
not all of them are dark, are they? Tyranitar is rather quite a bright green. So, that was the intro joke. But curiously now, what is so
He's not really
dark
dark.
about them?
She's a cat,
Are they
though.
all nocturnal? Are they spooky? What gives? Well, it's a fairly commonly known fact that dark is just the English translation of the type. Well, translation is also not entirely true. Localization fits better, because in Japan, this type is officially called the evil type. Now, of course, philosophers have debated the concept of evil for millennia, but even still, in the context of Pokemon, are all of these dark type Pokemon actually evil? Or perhaps are they just lacking in kind-spiritedness that the other Pokemon types have? But in that case, would that mean that there are no evil Pokemon that aren't Dark-type?
That's actually a really great question.
Oh hey, it's True Green 7.
I'm just dropping by to let everyone know that I just covered that very question in my latest video.
That sounds like an excellent video. I'll put links to it in the top card and in the description.
Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and get out of your amazing hair right now. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by. Now where was I? Oh yes, since True Green 7 has that covered, we could focus wholly on just Dark-type Pokemon, which is good because that would go against this type series anyway. So, let's go over the inspirations for every Dark-type Pokemon and explain why they are Dark or
There's a vulture in
evil
there.
type, or possibly
Some
why
dogs.
some of them probably shouldn't be.
They're not evil, they're just misunderstood.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Alolan forms of Pokemon that weren't previously Dark-type, as I think some of them explain the typing best. Let's look at Meowth and Persian and their Dark-type Alolan counterparts.
I mean, they're cats.
Meowth is based on a
They're
Japanese
evil.
lucky cat, said to bring good fortune, and Meowth's signature move, Payday, does just that. Both forms love collecting coins, but here is where the Pokédex shows a distinct difference. Meowth's dex entries state that it is nocturnal and fights with Murkrows a lot, and
Meowth's
that its
dex?
favorite thing is happily collecting coins. Whereas Alolan Meowth's dex entries state that it too loves collecting coins, but it is selfish and overly prideful, and pride is a deadly
Sounds
sin.
like a cat.
When either Meowth evolves into Persian, we get two somewhat mean cats, but Alolan Persian is still extremely prideful, and its preferred tactics are sucker punches and blindside attacks. It's so brutal that it tortures its weakened prey rather than finishing them off. And though that's pretty normal for most cats, in Pokemon's case, that's pretty messed up. Clearly, there is something evil going on behind those eyes. Rattata and Raticate are the same. While their
She was
normal forms
puffy as
Pokedex
cheeks
entries
were.
state that they are basically rats, their Dark-type counterparts' dex entries state that they infiltrate and steal food from people's homes. They love food so much that they get fat, and gluttony is another deadly sin. And curiously, these whiskers are designed to look like Japanese thief masks.
I was gonna
And
say,
then
he
we
looks
get
so
to
angry.
Grimer and Muck, comparing their dicks. Comparing their dicks. Comparing their dex entries doesn't tell us much. To summarize all of them, these Pokemon are made of toxins, and their toxin is gross. And that's about everything the Pokedex states. Heck, the one thing in all of the dex entries about temperament says that Alolan Muck is unexpectedly quiet and friendly. That's not very evil of you at all. What gives? Granted, it also says that if it is not fed, it will get mad, break furniture, and then eat that. But if you push literally any Pokemon or any animal to starvation, I'm sure they'd get pretty upset. So I've got a small theory about this one. I think Game Freak gave Muck and Grimer the Dark type just so that they would get bonus damage from their new moves, Bite and Crunch, both Dark type, since these new forms of Muck and Grimer have teeth now, and that's kind of their whole thing. So now you have some direct examples of what the Dark type is all about, both strong and not so strong examples. So now let's
just
go
keep
over the
seeing a
rest
rat
of the
with a
Pokemon,
mustache.
starting with Pokemon that are Dark type based on the way that they fight or hunt. By that I mean, a good example is an honorable fighter versus a street
Game of
punk.
Thrones.
One
Yeah.
will win through training and strength alone.
You don't
Another will
fight
throw
with
sand
honor.
in your face, bite you,
He
and
did.
kick you in the throat or nuts with no regard for your future.
You don't
Yes.
fight with honor.
No.
He did.
And with both Scraggy and Scrafty
Such a
are
great
perfect
lad.
examples of this. Found in Unova, which is based on New York, these Pokemon are designed after hoodlums, fighting with shady tactics over turf. It's said they headbutt anyone that looks at them wrong, and the saggier their pants, the more respect they garner from their gang. When they evolve, they gain this punk-looking mohawk crest. They taunt their opponents by spitting.
They're delinquents.
Don't feel bad ganging up on a single
Chi-Chi
other
would be so
Pokemon
mad.
that ventured into the wrong territory. Definitely a gang of low-pantsed bullies. Poniard and
Low-pants
Bisharp are
bullies.
also good examples. Bisharps will lead their groups of Poniards into the attack of food, and they are pitiless. They will shred their prey to pieces. This war-loving species spends its free time preparing for the next fight by sharpening their blades, and they are designed after samurai bandits after all. Samurais that turned bad. While at first,
one guy was just playing with his
Volibee
nipple.
and Mandibuzz don't seem much more
his
evil
what?
than your
Nipple.
typical vulture,
Okay.
delving deeper you can start to pick up on some things. Unlike real vultures, they don't just eat carcasses. They actually hunt out the youngest and weakest Pokemon and rip into them and hurl them into their nest made of bones. Sharpened bones. They
Yeah, she's
also
got that
wear the
evil eye
sharpened
look.
bones of their prey as a means of intimidation and as a trophy, as they are proud killers, which can be seen
Makes
as
them
a
serial
sort of
killers.
evil, I suppose. Carvana is literally a piranha. They are ravenous and shred their prey to shreds in minutes, just like real piranha. So again, they aren't evil per se, just very, very hungry.
It's just their nature.
Piranhas. Sharpedo, though, is known
Sharpedo?
as the bully of the sea, and being a bully is pretty mean. And also tears his prey to shreds before devouring it just like a shark. Cacturn is a nocturnal cactus based loosely on a scarecrow, so by being scary and nocturnal predators, they got the dark typing. They prey on sleeping and exhausted Pokemon in the desert.
Oh, no.
Pangoro is an interesting case.
Ooh.
They are based on Japanese pompadour hooligans and street punks. But like many of them
Nice.
in popular media, they mainly only act and fight tough. Pangoro's Pokedex entries point towards this too. It has a violent temperament and prefers to talk with its fists and isn't afraid to fight dirty. However, it does not put up with bullies and will defend anyone who's a victim of bullying by beating the bullies half to death. Straight to the point, anti-hero vigilante justice. Crocodile, though interestingly not its previous forms, are extremely violent. They were given the name Intimidation Pokemon for a reason, and their Japanese name directly translates to Evil Gorile, which is a type of crocodile. And like real crocodilia, they are vicious with their prey, clamping down and twisting to rip the prey in half.
They're like
Curiously,
raccoon eyes.
crocodile might also be inspired from Sobek, an Egyptian god with a crocodile head known for violence and robbery, hence the crook in Crocodile's name. And unlike previous evolutions, its eye membranes are spiked up and out, and sunglasses of that shape are often associated with gang leaders and criminals in anime and manga. Honchkrow is the head honcho of a gang of Murkrow, which
Yeah,
are referred to
he looks
as
like a mob
its
boss.
goons. It's deceivious
Got
and
an awesome
merciless
hat.
and commands its Murkrow to fight and find food for it. In the wild, the only time they do the fighting is to deal the finishing strike for the satisfaction of ending the battle. Murkrow, however, its previous evolution, fits better into our next category, which are Pokemon that are dark type more so because of their behavior. Meaning, while the dark type may be applied somewhat for the ways they fight, it better reflects the way they act day to day. Murkrow, like real crows, love shiny things and are known to steal them, and steal food too, and they are said to bring bad luck wherever they go. Sneasel is a weasel, and like weasels,
Sneasel?
they love
Sneasel
stealing
is a
eggs
weasel.
from nests and eating them. It's like eating a baby, which is pretty evil. And its evolved form is said to be much, much more intelligent, but also much, much more devious. And they hunt in extra coordinated packs, and can communicate
raptors.
their evil plots via writing and scratch marks.
Oh, no, don't do
Crawdaunt
it.
is very aggressive in nature and is very violent as well, and that's by Pokemon standards even. It's very aggressive and highly territorial and will intimidate and possibly even fight any other living thing it sees.
Does it have a starfish for a
And
nose?
viciously. Purloin and
Let's see.
Liepard are devious thieves through and through. They play cute and innocent, but they are true cat burglars. Another cat, Incineroar, is said to be prideful.
Incineroar?
and have a
Awesome.
violent, selfish disposition. They are based on heel wrestlers, the bad guy wrestlers from things like WWE and SmackDown. Staged fights for the sake of entertainment. And that's why it's dark instead of fighting type. Heels are meant to be intimidating and fight dirty, mean, not necessarily good fighters. Zorua and Zoroark are illusionary tricksters tricksters. They have the ability to create illusions and make you think they are something they are not. One Pokedex entry states that if a usually
I
very
revealed that.
talkative child suddenly becomes quiet, it may have been replaced by a Zorua. So they may even be kidnappers and fans of identity
Baby
theft.
thieves.
Both are pretty evil. Sableye is based on the Hopkinsville Goblin, and goblins have always been mischievous little devils. These guys live in caves, and are said to be able to steal the spirits of people when their eyes burn with a sinister glow. Which is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
They also love to eat carbinks. Drapion is very prideful of its stretch. Pride being a deadly sin, of course. It will also attack anyone it finds crossing the desert just to show off its skills. Hoopa is much deeper. It's a mischievous trickster, first of all, and if you've seen the movie, its Unbound form certainly is selfish and evil. Hoopa Unbound's design has a few elements that closely emulates common designs of demons, and either form could be taking
Hoopa.
inspiration from
Think of the Hoopa,
Nesha,
think of the hoe.
a mischievous trickster deity worshipped in Taoism and Chinese folk religion, and is commonly referred to as a trickster deity. Nesha is often depicted holding rings, and sometimes depicted with multiple arms, just like Hoopa. And also, just like Hoopa, it has the ability to use its hoops to transport things. Houndoom is
That's cool.
spooky and evil looking, and its howls are
Like
said
a
to
sonic
bring
ring?
the Grim Reaper closer. It strikes fear into other Pokemon, and it tends to hunt in packs and show no
howls.
mercy. Also, if you make it angry, it's capable of causing burns that will not only scar
Ramdog.
over, but be permanently agonizing.
Oh.
The pain will never go away.
Oh.
It's pretty messed up. That's
Yeah, it
really
is.
evil. Wow. Its previous evolution,
puppy.
though, seems to fit more into the next category. That being Pokemon that were given the Dark type more so for their design rather than their behavior or fighting style. Houndour is just not that evil at all. I mean,
Houndour?
they look the part, and they evolve into evil, but the only thing really evil about Houndour themselves is that they also hunt in coordinated packs, like a basic wild dog. There's nothing evil about that at all. Though I guess they do look mean and intimidating, so there's that. Greninja is also not that inherently dark,
Awesome.
mean, or evil. The Pokedex mentions it likes toying with its enemies in battle, but most Pokemon happen to like battling. No, in Greninja's case, I believe it was given the Dark type based on the fact that it's designed to be a ninja. Those dark, rebellious assassins known for stealth, and by ending lives through stealth and deceit rather than through honorable combat. Also, it having the Dark type made it balanced with the secondary typings of the other starter Pokemons of that generation. But as a follow-up to some Pokemon with weaker reasons being Dark type, let's now go over the inherently evil Pokemon. Those Pokemon that truly are dark, evil beasts. Yvel in Yvel's name comes from the Old English-speaking
okay,
word
yeah.
evil, and being the Pokemon of death and destruction, that certainly is fitting. Its design is said to be inspired somewhat from carrion birds, birds that eat corpses, such as vultures and crows, and I suppose I can see that. If a vulture died and its body was taken over by devil's fingers, a type of fungus known for smelling even more putrid than death itself,
Ugh.
Pokedex states that it's capable of absorbing the life force of Pokemon just by spreading its wings, which obviously is quite evil indeed. Dinos, Vilas, and Hydreigon are interesting. Dino starts off as a dinosaur with an emo haircut and causes itself a lot of self-harm, constantly tackling nearby
haircut.
objects. But when it sprouts a second head is when it really starts showing its mean-spiritedness.
Okay.
Neither head likes each other, and they are constantly fighting. And they are known as the
Whichever head eats the more gets-
Pokemon after all,
which more than the other gets to be the
constantly
leader.
upset and attacking things. Then it evolves into Hydreigon, which is said to be brutal and devours everything in its path.
It's like a
Anything that moves
three
seems
head?
like a foe to it. The world is its enemy, and on top of this, the inspirations for this line of Pokemon are Yamada no Orochi, Zme Gorinich, and the Lernaean Hydra. All three of them evil antagonists in their legends. Inkay may look super cute, but it hides its nefariousness well. Its Japanese name directly translates to demon squid, and it is capable of hypnotizing and draining the willpower of enemy Pokemon to bide it time to evolve into its true form, Malamar. Malamar
there
is
we go.
truly
That's
evil.
evil.
I mean, Malamar looks like a Power Ranger supervillain, first of all. And the Pokedex says that when it comes to strong hypnosis, there is an endless number of people who utilize Malamar for their nefarious deeds. In the anime, there was a whole episode dedicated to an evil Malamar bent on world domination with its hyper-intelligence and especially powerful mind-controlling abilities. Malamar's evil. The Ultra Beast Guzzlord also looks like a Power Rangers villain. one. And this one is all about gluttony. It's constantly destroying and eating everything, no matter what it is. Mountains, buildings, people, and its droppings are never found, as if its interior were a black hole. It would certainly take an evil, gluttonous being to have absolutely no regard for what it guzzles down. Gyarados may be a mean-looking sea monster, but it isn't dark type, it's water flying. But when it mega evolves, it becomes water dark. And the reasoning is quite simple. According to the Pokedex, mega evolution also affects its brain, leaving no other function except for its destructive instinct to burn everything to cinders. So basically, while Gyarados normally is easily angered and goes on rampages, it doesn't just do so willy-nilly because it isn't inherently evil.
Good
But
use of
upon
willy-nilly.
mega evolving, it can think of
appreciate that.
nothing else but destruction, becoming inherently evil. Until the end of the battle when it returns back to its normal form. Tyranitar is a big bully. Based loosely on Godzilla, this Pokemon guards
See
its
it.
mountain territory well and will occasionally come down just to pick a fight with something. Makes sense considering its Japanese name comes from the words savage, barbarian, and hate. This impudent Pokemon is one you do not want to mess with. Nuzleaf and Shiftry are both based on Tengu, Japanese goblins known for their long noses, ability to read minds, and cruel tricks. Pretty simple. Spiritomb is made up of 108 evil spirits
Oh, damn.
bound to a keystone. It is said that their constant mischief and misdeeds led to them all being locked in there. So it must have been especially bad for people to take such drastic action against it. Darkrai is a shadow monster, so fitting of the literal dark type, but is it evil? Many say so, as it flies through the skies giving people and Pokemon horrible, horrible nightmares. Though, the Pokedex states that it means no harm, so it's sort of a cursed existence, really. It has this evil ability that it cannot stop from happening, and it doesn't want it to be happening. Sad. Which segues into our final category, Pokemon that really are not dark, as in evil, much at all. Maybe they have a few elements here and there, but compared to the rest, there's not much. Umbreon seems to be more literally dark type rather than evil type. It likes the moon, it hides in shadows, waiting to attack its prey, so it's like any other nocturnal predator. The only thing vaguely evil about it are that its rings that glow in the dark are kind of ominous. Kind of scary, I guess. Stunky and Skunktank aren't all that evil either.
Skunktank.
Sure, they smell terrible and will ruin your whole day, but nothing in their Pokedex mentions them being bad or anything. The closest thing is Skunktank in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon being the leader of a group of bully bandits. But otherwise, these Pokemon are just strong skunks. I guess it's just really mean to make someone smell bad all day. Poochyena and Mightyena are also more so just generic pack dogs or pack hyenas. They hunt in packs and ambush their prey. One will scare the prey with its spooky fangs, and the prey will then run into an ambush. So again, basic pack animal. Not really evil. I mean,
Yeah.
they gotta eat. Sandile and Krokorok, unlike their final evolution, aren't all
Krokorok.
that dark or evil at all. Their Pokedex entries are all about their special eyes, their body temperature, and how they like to bury themselves in sand and live in groups. Nothing about a violent nature at
seems
all.
pretty chill.
They may be dark just because they are a bit meaner than most predators, or just for type balancing's sake, since its final evolution is pretty evil. And Absol just gets a bad rep. It lives in the mountains and can sense natural disasters and impending danger. So it will come down from the mountains to try to warn people and Pokemon in the area about the upcoming natural disaster.
Oh.
But because it's known to do this, people began to think it caused the natural disasters. Meaning
sad.
people think it's evil. So why is it actually dark
Oh.
type then? At the very least, to balance it out, it could be normal dark. But no, I smell a theory there. So this last group of Pokemon, they're not really dark at all. All I'm really getting at is that there are other non-dark Pokemon or non-evil type Pokemon that are significantly more evil than some of these. And for more information on that, TrueGreen7 has an excellent video right here. Check it out. And if you're still here, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. Especially as of late, YouTube has been all over the place, and I've been in the hospital, and so many terrible things have been happening.
Yeah.
I'm fine now, but, you know, financial stuff. Thank you so much, Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing. It makes the world of difference for not only me, but for all of Team Noggin. So thank you. And until next time, please remember to never stop using your noggin.
Incineroar was my favorite. Just the design, the name. It was the best one out of the dark that
That was a good one. I liked in my brain it was like Ursula-esque, but like starts as like the adorable little squid
Oh yeah.
and then becomes like this Ursula-esque one that can like brainwash people. I thought that was pretty cool.
Also found it interesting that some of the dark Pokemon, the ones that turned evil, like their final form was never like nice if their other forms were like evil. Like it would just like stay evil consistently. But their earlier forms could be, not really necessarily evil Pokemon. Just, it's not true in life. We're so innocent as kids and kind, and then you grow up as adults and then we're dicks.
Yeah, I think those Pokemon go through some shit.
Yeah, they do. They definitely have.
And for Loxton and Noggin, just what he said at the very end of his little video about having been in the hospital recently, I'm glad he's okay now. But
This is 6 years old too, so I'm sure he's...
Well, I really hope he's okay now then. But
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, well wishes for a speedy recovery. But yeah, I guess 6 years later it wouldn't be so speedy. Oh well.
It was a nice thought, though.
Yeah.
It was a very nice thought.
Yeah.
The intention was well-meaning.
Bit late, but it was there.
Yeah. I was happy to see more dogs in this one, though. I mean, but in the dark type, they gotta have more dogs. We've only had one dog this entire time in here, Rockruff or Rough Rock, whatever. Rockruff.
Yeah.
And then now we get him a few of them in the dark one. I wasn't surprised with the cats, obviously.
I was gonna say there were more cats than dogs though, so that was fitting.
And even some of the dogs weren't necessarily, they like you said, they weren't necessarily evil.
That's right. They were pack animals.
Yeah, they hunt in packs.
That's what pack animals are supposed to do.
There's following their nature. So I like the Hydra one as well. That especially since even in when it got 3 heads, for some reason the head on the, I guess it would be on its left, my right, looked like it was smiling too. So.
I just like how the heads just don't get along, so he becomes evil because he's just pissed off all the time. Which if you were, I imagine, a conjoined twin and you and your twin despise each other, that could make you cranky. I feel like that's legitimate.
Yeah, I agree. Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments and which one was your favorite dark type. And if you want all of our Pokemon reactions, then check out the description of this video for a playlist.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Pokemon with us, but you keep in mind
that our reaction and Bucky's reaction are definitely not definitive.